Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kusogrande Live. My name is Shrambles, and we have our quarterfinal matches today, and we have 4 wonderful matches. So, I am going to waste no more time. I'm going to bring up our players, Jackazam and JIGS, and they're going to be playing a versus match in a very interesting game.
Yeah, if you want to make the mic.
All right, so players, character choice doesn't matter. So go and select a character. This will be a best of 5 in the game of Bouncers for the Sega CD. Yep, you'll hit start game, hit 2-player. Did that give you an option to go 2-player? You don't need to go to options. Just Alt-R, please. It should reset, right? Control-R. There we go. I guess character choice won't matter, and then the first stage you will play will be the Olympic-looking stage. The second player won't activate, and so the first player has to select everything. You shouldn't have to go into options. So hit A. There we go. And then challenge. And so character choice does not matter. So just pick your favorite basketball-looking character. So it's like Jackazam has picked Chip. So we will do the timer. So as soon as you select that stage, so 3, and that is the Olympic one. So 3, 2, 1, let's start. So this is Bouncers for the Sega CD. The goal is this is essentially a fighting basketball game where you are basically basketballs, and there is a score. So this is a basketball game, fighting game. But there is no HP. Your goal is to just score as many baskets against your opponent as possible. But I'm not going to tell them, but there is 2 points for GIJS. So taking a lead. There are power-ups. JGIS finding some power-ups, getting some extra points. Jackazam on the board with 1. And there is another 2-point shot for JGIS. So this is essentially what we'll be seeing, and this will be a best of 5. There's a power-up coming by. It seems like they are avoiding it, and there's another score for... And there's another score for Jackazam. So the controls of this game, there is D-pad for movement. One of your buttons does a special if you have a power-up. The other button is punch, which allows you to punch your opponent. And then your most important button will be the A button, or not A button, but one of the buttons is just jump, which is the most important aspect for a basketball. But GIJS, with the early lead, 22 points, getting a 3-point shot. So this is the Olympic stage. It has a few interesting hazards. As you've noticed, there might be some wind every now and again, and occasionally there's a cloud that comes by with a thunderbolt. So the wind now pushing towards to the right. And I believe we have Gog and Chip as our character selections. Chip is just a child basketball who is dreaming big to becoming a basketball star, while Gog is a lovesick alien trying its best to find love in the vast outer space. But there we go. I think... Oh, and that is not going to be a shot in for Jackazam. These balls have an interesting way of bouncing around, so you don't really have air movement. as you would expect. There is a nice basket there for Jackazam, but GIJS with the counter. And there's another shot. Is that going to go in? That is not going to go in. The Thunder denying Jackazam of a shot. Ooh, but collecting some points. So yes, there are power-ups, and they are random. There is another power-up, but it looks like our players are letting it go by. The Thunder is denying Jackazam a shot as Chip. So yes, Chip being the little guy with the purple, like, kid's hat with the propeller. Gog, obviously, the green alien. And there is another shot. We are a minute into quarter 2. We're going to see Gog with another 3-point shot. Our players still getting the hang of this tricky physics basketball nonsense. If we're looking for another game to match the Evil Zone tournament, this might be our next grand fighting game. Another shot in for Gog. GIJS has a nice 11-point lead. Oh, but Jackazam getting a benefit power-up with getting points. So it's cut the lead down to 3. So, oh, they're sizing each other up. Is that a bounce? Is that going to go in? That is a 3-point shot for GIJS. We're nearing the end of the second quarter. And another shot for GIJS. Like, these bounces are bouncing. That is the end of quarter 2. So we are halfway done with our first match. 8-point lead. And it looks like, unfortunately, GIJS has picked up the cement block shoes, which makes it so that he cannot jump very high. I've been waiting for someone to collect that power-up. It is a power down. You do not want that power-up. And as you can see, there's a little timer over the score of 43. Oh, and there, it looks like... So this is an exclusive power-up specifically for the Olympic stage. You have Hermes boots. You can essentially just fly. So, we never said anything about the game being fair. Kusogrande, not exactly always about fairness. But here we go. It looks like GIJS also has got the Hermes boots. Getting some shots in, so basically canceling out all the points that Jackazam had received, but also picking up some points there. They just float around. And I'm going to just do a little spoiler warning. This is one of the more normal stages. We're going to see a few more interesting variations of stages. But we're nearing 30 seconds left in quarter 3. That looked like a betrayal of a shot for GIJS. I don't know how that did not go in, but collecting powers. And Jackazam actually taking the lead now. 4-point lead heading into the end of the third quarter. There is another shot. Yeah, and so something you wouldn't notice, so when you do jump, you jump at either an angle directly or directly up, and you don't really get to control that angle. And once you're in the air, you really don't have any control of your movement. And that is the end of quarter 3. So 2 minutes left in this first match. Jackazam with a 6-point lead at the moment. But your momentum, really only you get to control your air movement just by little bits. And it only really is when you hit the rim of the hoop. I guess in this case, the rim of the statue. Yeah, so it looks like GIJS has got a flaming basketball. So that is a power-up, but figuring out how to use it, some of them aren't always clear. Some of them you can use, some of them are just automatically in use. Ooh, almost collecting the cement shoes for Jackazam. Not going to be a great choice, but 3 points separate us. We are down to the last minute of match 1. This is a very close match. I can tell you that I was not good at this game when I played it. When I played the computer, it would usually end up being like 12 to 49. So very much a blowout. So this is amazing how close it is. We are tied 1 minute remaining in the first match. And GIJS collecting the spring boots, using it, and getting a 3-point shot. But Jackazam cutting the lead to 1. Who is going to take the first game of Bouncers for the Sega CD? Oh, and getting a nice batch of points. That is unfortunate for Jackazam. 7 points with 20 seconds to go. And that is a 3-point shot. And that is a... Oh, no. It seems to be going awry for Jackazam. Getting another point, but it might be too little too late for the end of this one. That is 2 points. 8 points left. GIJS just zoning out, knowing that you need to bounce. So GIJS is going to take the first game in this best of 5 set of Bouncers. But that is the end of the first game. We're going to move on to our second game. You are more than welcome to switch up your characters if you'd like. They serve no difference. They are all the same. The only thing that is different about them is their punch animation, which I don't think either of our players have done. So what stage do I want you to go to next? I think we're going to the cold, cold mountains, because this is Minnesota. There aren't mountains here, but it is pretty cold. So, 3, 2, 1, let's do match 2. Alright, so this is the cold, cold mountains. Where are the hoops? And yes, this is ice physics. So not only now do they have no control on the air, they have no control on the ground. And this also has a little bit of wind, but not as much as the Olympic stage. And the interesting thing about this one is there's actually 3 hoops. Alright, so we are at the beginning of this match, tied up 5-5. But early on, trying to figure out the quirks of this stage, Jackson getting a nice 2-point shot. So it's really easy to just keep getting bounces after getting a shot, because your momentum is pretty much enough to just keep getting more points. And there is another point shot and collecting the spring power-up. This is a one-time use power-up. And yeah, so the points that come randomly are just random point values. You can never really know how much points you're actually going to get from them until after you collect them. Oh, a nice, almost a nice combo. There is the nice combo from GIJS. Almost collecting the cement shoes. Oh, bouncing out of the shot. There are the points. There is going to be the easiest way to get points. You don't have to worry about your opponent. You can just collect random ball power-ups as they come by. Ooh, and GIJS taking the lead, but getting it back. Jackazam 20-19. Close match early on in this quarter 1, match 2. Oh, and there is another shot. So GIJS taking the lead, getting the spring shoes. Ooh, bouncing out, not getting in there with the spring shoes, and that's going to be the end of quarter 1 with a 1-point lead for GIJS. And our players have opted to stay the same characters, so we will not get to know any of our other characters. So I'm going to pull up some information on them, just so we have a little bit of facts on them. And so, as I said, Jackazam is playing Chip, the young wannabe basketball star. I just saw Jackazam getting the point, but GIJS was just in the prime position to collect the point power-ups that came by. It is very hard to maintain your physics. GIJS getting an easy shot with the spring shoes. Is that going to be a point? That's going to be a point for Jackazam, but down by 6. Oh, who collected those? I think that was GIJS. Ah, yes. So this is described as Arctic Blast. It is a frozen mountain, 3 hoops in a cliff. Arctic winds blow, characters around. The ground is icy and slippery, but snowstorms occasionally cover the ground in snow and make it less icy. But we have yet to see a snowstorm. It is only just ice. And there are some points. Oh, and GIJS sniping them away from Jackazam, but she is able to get a spring shoe. Oh, and is GIJS going to give Jackazam a nice point? No, just bouncing around. We got 10 seconds left in quarter 2, and there's going to be some points for Jackazam. But down by 10. Is that going to go in? That is going in. And that is going in again. Physics are not on Jackazam's side right now. And that is the end of quarter 2 with a 15-point lead currently. But we still have 4 minutes to go. Easy 2 points for Jackazam at the start of quarter 3. So these sentient basketballs, all of them have their own intro cartoon video that you can watch on the main menu to give them the lore. So that is how we know that Chip is a wannabe basketball star and Gog is a love-struck alien in outer space. But there are some power-ups, so unfortunately GIJS collecting these cement shoes cannot jump very high. Can Jackazam capitalize on the limited movement of GIJS at this point, getting some points, so cutting the lead down to 12. Even getting a bounce off of Jackazam with the cement shoes is not going to be enough height. Oh, and collecting the spring shoes. Is that going to be another 2 points? That is another 2 points. Oh, but convenient, the bouncing of Jackazam, not allowing her to collect those random free points. So just a lot of unfortunate luck on Jackazam's side at this point. But GIJS has been playing well, has been capitalizing on all of the opportunities. And so here, yeah, the snow is now on the field, so now they can actually move around without having to worry about ice. But it looks like it is starting to melt. Who's going to get these points? Again, GIJS just in the right spot at the right time. It is unfortunate, but that is sometimes how the game goes. But Jackazam getting a nice bounce. Ooh, almost collecting the cement shoes. But this is going to be a very big hurdle to climb. 16-point deficit for Jackazam. That is the end of quarter 3. We're down to the last 2 minutes of match 2. And so how are our players going to counteract this? There is 2 points for Jackazam. And there is a new set of shoes. I don't know if we've seen those in play yet. I am not positive of what those shoes do either. I am going to look it up for you. Oh, there we go. So those are sticky shoes. They make the players bounce less, therefore recover control quicker after hitting the ground. Ooh, and cement shoes. This is in the last minute. Is this going to be enough? Jackazam down by, at this point, 18 points. GIJS playing defense, making sure that Jackazam cannot capitalize on this. Oh, but unfortunately, the bouncing of Jackazam, again, unable to collect. If anything, Jackazam's really good at giving the cement shoes to GIJS, but it's only benefited him because when the opportunity comes, the points always fall into GIJS's favor. Down to 30 seconds. This is 25-point deficit. I'm not sure if Jackazam's going to come back. Those points again, but they're just going to float away. And still, GIJS getting the points. This one is most likely going to go to GIJS's favor, putting him up 2-0 in this best-of-5 match. 10 seconds left. Unless a million different points come in and getting another point. So this is going to be another win for GIJS. That is match 2 in GI Justice's favor. So Jackazam is going to need to do the reverse 3-0 in order to take the victory here today. But that is 46 points of random points that just coming in. That is Bouncers. What a wonderful game of fairness. And so we will go into match 3. Are our players going to maintain their character choices? All right, so it looks like Jackazam is going to spike. And we have GIJS going with Ugh. We are going to the pirate ship on the bottom left. It is very spooky, and you will see why. So 3, 2, 1. Let's see what the pirate ship has in store for us. So we had water, we had ice, now we have water. So half of the stage is underwater, while the other half of the stage is above water. And yes, that is 100% going to mess with your physics. So you're going to have to figure out, yeah, so as you can see, when you land in the water, you will slow. And so there is 2 points early on for Spike and Ugg. So if I remember correctly, Ugg's background is Ugg is a caveman. And there are the points. Again, the points are just a magnet for GIJS right now. It is unfortunate luck. But that is unfortunate luck for Jackazam, but very fortunate luck for GIJS. So we have a parachute power-up. So that is going to make your descent a lot easier. So you do not bounce around as much. But again, if you were used to the physics before, now with water, and again, the points only go to GIJS. This is just unfortunate luck. Like, it is, like, I am amazed how unlucky Jackazam is right now. Another shot. This is turning out to be a blowout so far. 12 points. There are the points. All right. Jackazam has successfully obtained 1 point. Now has what looks like to be a very, yeah, so Jackazam has picked up the speed power-up. But yeah, down 14 points. Is that going to go in? There we go, 3-point shot there. And that is going to be the end of the first quarter. Down by 11. Jackazam's going to really need to pick it up, possibly get... And there's another 3-point for Jackazam. That is another 3-pointer. Okay, so I'm going to level with everybody in the audience and the players. I don't know what determines what is a 3-point shot or not. I think it's distance, but sometimes it feels like you can get a 3-point shot by just being right next to it. It makes very little sense. Oh, Jackazam doing all the hard work to actually like getting into the rim, but then again, points just magically falling into GIJS's favor. The Kuso gods want GIJS to be in the semifinals. So down by 1, is Jackazam going to be able to pull a lead from this, or are the Kuso gods going to keep granting GIJS all the points? And yes, again, the Kuso gods have granted GIJS's wish, and now have given Jackazam cement shoes. But it's still a close match, and both of them now have cement shoes, but somehow the physics are allowing Jackazam to get some points, and also GIJS, even with cement shoes. Oh, and I think GIJS collected the speed power-up, so fun fact, when you collect another power-up, you do cancel out your previous power-up. And points for Jackazam this time. There we go. You know, the Kuso gods giveth, the Kuso gods taketh away. We are tied now. This is wonderful close match. GIJS taking the lead now with a 2-point shot. Are we going to see any more action at the end of this second quarter? We have a parachute for Jakazam. Is she going to be able to use it to get one more point at the end of this quarter? And is not, but we do move on directly into quarter 3 because this is basketball themed. So even though it just continues immediately after, you do have to stop. Oh, and Jakazam giving almost like 4 points in a row to GIJS. Oh! Getting some points there. Down by 5. Now down by 2. Keeping it close. There are the points. And that is for Jakazam. Now, I could have had the settings be turn the power-ups off, but that doesn't seem to be in the Kuso fun. But here we go. Some more points. So within 2 now, GIJS in a very unfamiliar position, but now taking the lead back by 1. There are the points. Oh, and Jakazam bouncing as the namesake of the game, bouncing GIJS. And there's a spring shot, but the spring shot bouncing off of the mermaid rim. All right, within 2 now. Oh, who needs your opponent when you can just get spring shoes? 30 seconds left in quarter 1. There are the points, and oh, the unfortunate bouncing GIJS into the points and into the rim at the same time. That is a big swing. But there we go, getting some nice points there. Ooh, but there we go. Back within 4. That is a 3-point shot. Back within 1. All right, the last 2 minutes. So only down by 3, so that can be a 3-point shot. Who knows how you actually get one of those. But look at how fast GIJS is right now. There's a parachute. And somehow getting in, so now in the lead by 7, is GIJS going to play some defense here? There's the points. And the only ones, but still, points are points within 4 now. All right, so we have some umbrellas, not umbrellas, parachutes. Last minute of this match. Oh, and the I keep saying it's an umbrella, but essentially parachutes and umbrellas work the same. Ooh, collecting some points. There's 9 now. Oh, bouncing not in favor right now. There is another point. 11 points now. There's 2, so down within 9. We have 30 seconds left. Cement shoes. There are the points. Oh, within 1, but Jakazam has cement shoes. Oh no! And I think that's gonna possibly do it. And I think that is going to do it. Unfortunately, taking a 3-0, GIJS will be moving on into Kusogrande Live semifinals. But yeah, so GIJS getting pretty much all of the luck, but still was still good enough to keep those points and being able to take the win. Unfortunate loss for Jakazam, but it was wonderful to have you in the tournament. But yeah, so with that, that was Bouncers for the Sega CD, and we are going to take a break as we do have a little bit of time for setup. So we're going to get set up for our next match, and thank you all. We will be back.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the second round of Kusogrande. For Kusogrande Live, we will be having. Oh.
No, go for it. Go for it.
So we have Arborelia and Gemiant. The game is going to be Solar Jetman. So if our contestants are ready,
You want me to sit with you, or you want to do this?
I got it. It's good.
Oh yeah, do you.
All right. So if you both are ready, we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, we have some technical problems. Okay, there we go. So we're good.
We can reset it again if we need to.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so it looks like both of our contestants are now just figuring out a little bit about the craft they've got. It's a little difficult to control. You might notice there's a little bit of momentum in the build and all of that. It's a very physics-driven game. Concept is you were trying to just sort of explore around, find certain things, collect certain things, to eventually move on to the next area. So there's a substantial amount of meandering around looking for things. The whole focus of the game is based on exploration, so it's going to be finding different abilities, different pieces, ideally looking for fuel. Because the goal is to move on to the next area, find more pieces of the golden ship, which is some type of mythical high-speed space travel ship. I don't really know much more about that. Alright, so we've encountered the first enemy. There's these standard sitting turrets, and we've also seen that Gemiant now has lost his first ship and his first life. The ships are incredibly fragile. One bullet will take them out. There are a few other rules. Specifically, once you've lost your pod, you can no longer tow stuff. As a regular person, while it is easier to control the person, it is much harder to control the ship. And the ship itself can only tow stuff. Right now, they're seeing both of our contestants have found their first piece of loot. So their goal is going to have to be to tow this back to their ship. And as they can see, all items that are moved have weight, so that weight will affect your ability to fly. It'll swing you around. Things can be heavier or lighter. Gravity on the planets can be different, so even if you adjust to the first stage, there's a really good chance the next time you pick up a thing on a new stage, it's gonna be hard. Alright, so we see Arborelia has almost made it back to the ship with that item. And Gemiant's just struggling to get that kind of upward momentum. It's very difficult, especially trying to avoid bullets from turrets. And Elia's got the first thing. Probe is now equipped with shields. So shields can be used to protect your ship against any kind of damage you might take. Yep. So they are integral to this game. They can also be skipped, which basically those shields are going to make it that you can actually explore around without immediately losing your ship. That's it. Both of our contestants have found that. Looks like their scores are roughly even, too. It's just mostly, like I said, exploration, kind of finding stuff, bringing it back to the ship. I will also say, the shield, while it is great for protecting you, also any kind of hit you have imparts a lot of physical movement, so controlling while being smacked with bullets can be quite difficult. We can see Gemiant has found the first fuel pod. In this stage, there's a fuel pod that you must bring back to your ship. You can only tow single objects at a time, as shown as well. Again, it's that weight definitely impacts the ability to move stuff, and we will see eventually later on how that can impact the game in very serious ways. Yeah, enemy spawning in this is also done in an interesting way. It's not the most predictable thing. All the static turrets are just sort of static, but anything that comes from off screen, it doesn't know at any moment what's going to be popping and where. It just kind of happens. Alright, and I believe both of our contestants have also figured out that the you cannot tow things while you have the shield up. So you have to be vulnerable when moving things that are important. So we can see on Elia's screen right now that when you're outside of your ship, you have much better movement. You are not beholden to as much of the physical rotational movement kind of stuff. You're always sort of jetting just in whatever direction you push. And now we're seeing the other mechanic, re-entering the ship. If you lose your ship, you can go back to your main ship to get a smaller ship so that you don't, you know, you can go back and start towing stuff again without losing lives. So the primary conceit that you don't have to lose a life if you lose your ship. It's also pretty hard to get back sometimes. So we've seen right here, Arbrelia has returned the fuel pod. When you have full fuel, you can finally collect the ship piece for the titular golden ship. Currently, Jemian is in the lead, having found that fuel pod first. So the next big step is to find the ship piece. You can also see on the front of the ship there's a visual fuel indicator, so we can see just how far someone is in. So there are other objects that are outside of our specific required objects for the game. These can be towed back. In the same fashion, they will do something. It really depends on what it is. Alright, we see Jemian going for the ship piece once more. And there it is, right there. So this is the first example of something that really heavily outweighs the ship. And it's one of those, once you've got the momentum, it's great. If you lose that momentum, it's all over. So now, as we've seen, unfortunately, Jemian losing that ship right there, going to have to go back all the way to the main ship to get another pod to try this again. Oh, Arbrelia on her way into the area with the ship. Let's see if she can bring this one home. Static turrets don't seem like a big deal until you don't have the shield up, and then they are just one of the most annoying things to deal with. See the race starting to tighten up a little bit. Oh, unfortunate for Jemian. If you do not have a way of preventing yourself from going into the portal, iframes, that kind of thing, it will just toss you right back out. Which, I mean, it was a bit of an oversight. Yeah, and Arbrelia trying to figure out how to actually bank that ship piece. It's not the most obvious thing. And Elliot taking the portal back while Jemian taking the portal in. Ships passing the night, as it were. Oh, we see that Jemian has figured out one of the fun ways you can mess around with the physics in this game. Unfortunately, not to his benefit. Yeah, the ability to have it float above you, you can kind of manipulate the physics back and forth a little bit, in which it's not nearly as hard to really work around the weight. Elia again getting sucked into that portal. One of the more difficult aspects of this first stage is where it drops you out of that portal. Is it puts you just right on top of it, and if you aren't really quick to move out of the way, you're just going right back through. And it's not even kind enough to drop you where the portal was. It drops you right back at your ship. It's supposed to be a quick way back, but... yeah. Alright, both of our runners going in. And... let's see where this goes. Gemiant taking the slower approach this time, taking out the turrets. Usually a pretty advisable move. That way you're not dealing with them when you are vulnerable, towing your cargo. The ship itself is pretty vulnerable. It does take some pretty substantial damage. Let's see if they can figure out what to do with this ship piece and how to progress. It looks like Ellie has done it. Ellie has figured out how to progress through this section. And has collected our first ship piece of the game. Just going to take this back, and it's going to be a little bit different than it was the first time. Welcome to the Cyber Zone, people. But once you exit the area where the ship piece is, it'll drop you into this fun little section here, where you navigate around to get some additional gems and stuff. With a little psychedelic, trippy background. Never explained, no idea why it happens, it just does. So every gem you collect gives you just a little bit more cash to work with. That will be important for the next thing that happens. It's always a fundamental rule in this game. More money is better than not having more money. Alright, so there are 10 crystals that typically find themselves in that cyber zone. If you can get all of them, you get an extra bonus as well. And now both of our competitors are trying to figure out what to do next. Because it wasn't exactly clear what they should or shouldn't be doing after this. Well, looks like Gemiant has figured out how to get off the planet first. And Gemiant will be moving on to stage 2. With Elia following shortly after. So we're looking at the first shop here. I will hold off my commentary on that until afterward. Put a lot of effort into those cutscenes. Alright, so Jimmy's already looking for his first piece of fuel. Looks like he's found it. Yeah. It's a matter of avoiding now. There are going to be more enemies on this stage. It's that first stage was really just an introduction to the mechanics. This is where the game really starts to pick up. Alright, Ellie is on to stage 2. So the shop area that was just up there, you only get it between stages. It's little buffs for your ship. Sometimes they are incredibly useful, sometimes not. They had some really big thoughts on things that would be really fun to do and just didn't quite implement them correctly. But as we can see now on Gemiant's side, while banking that fuel, Gemiant has shown that that little indicator on the front is going to tell you just how far someone's in. So Gemiant is currently in the lead with the first fuel collection on stage 2. The other thing that's notable about this particular stage is it is much, much larger than stage 1. So exploration is going to be absolutely key. They're going to find a lot of different things to tow back. Again, some of them useful, some of them not. Yeah, Ellie found her first fuel of stage 2. Let's bring it back to the ship. Jimmy just returned to get his capsule refreshed, and is on his way out to. I assume I know what he's going to do, but we'll wait and see. Right, that's Ellie with her first banked fuel of this particular stage. And now you can see both of them are starting to diverge their paths, go different directions. Completely valid. There are a lot of different ways you can go with this. As these are like big open world maps, which, again, saying open world maps on the NES is not really a common thing. Now, Gemiant's struggling a little bit with this particular pickup. Seems incredibly difficult to get that moving. Which is where you're gonna have to start learning some of the quirks of the physics engine, but we'll see if we can figure that out. Elia locating a second fuel pod, but it is guarded by a very, very aggressive turret. Yeah, it looks like Elia took it out. And is on her way back now with her second fuel container. This could be a lead change, folks. Gemiant's still trying to figure out how to make that thing move properly. And now it is sort of as buried into the ground as you can get it. There is no physical collision between objects and the terrain aside from the pod. So they can kind of swing freely over and into the terrain sometimes, which can be a pretty hard thing to deal with. Alright, and Elia has lost her pod, but fortunately she's very close to the ship, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal to get another one. Looks like Gemiant just found our first piece of open floating loot. So enemies will drop bits of loot like that. They're usually minor bonuses, nothing super important, but I say usually because there are exceptions to the rule. So this is the other drawback as well of flying around in your little spacesuit. It's very mobile, it's very easy to get around, but you cannot aim your guns at all. You shoot sideways. That's it. It's a fun, unique collection of differences between the two, but really the pod has to be used for basically everything. Alright, so we do in fact have a lead change. Elia is in fact in the lead, and is now combing the surface for more stuff. Basically the main gameplay loop of this is just look for as much stuff as you can, pull it in as fast as you can. Seeing what we've seen, imagine not finding that shield. That shield is deeply important to making sure this goes well. The sales portion of it between stages, you can sometimes pick up things you've missed there, or things that you just weren't able to grab. Oh, looks like Elia has found the same object that Gemiant was trying to move around earlier. She seems to be having a little bit more success in actually moving it. Let's hope that continues. The swinging can kind of cause some problems. But it looks like she's got a little... and she's descending with it. And we see Gemiant has found his second fuel pod, so this will be not a lead change, but it will be important for tying them up. For scoring purposes, by the way, fuel is one of the most important things. First person who finds it. If you are the second to find it, tie goes to the person who found it first. So finding fuel and finding ship pieces each count as progression. And moving on to the next stage does not. It's just a matter of those pieces and that fuel. More combing the surface, and that's basically what this game expects of you. Spend your entire time just sort of floating around, looking for stuff. I mean, in all reality, this game was an interesting concept, but Zippo Games has never been great about executing things. Some of their other notable games are very similar in that they're ambitious, but not quite well executed on. And we have Gemiant once again trying to get that ship piece. Not specifically the ship piece for the titular golden ship, but a secondary piece. It is used for something else entirely. And it looks like Gemiant's figured out how to move it and figured out a little bit of a hack on the movement in this game. The momentum system has some very strange quirks about it that are a little antithetical to how one would expect a ship to fly. Looks like he's keeping his height. That's good. That's incredibly good. And Gemiant has now banked one of the really important good pieces of loot in this game. I will refrain from saying what it is, specifically because of not both of our contestants don't have it. So We'll see if Jimmy can figure out how to utilize that piece as well, because it's not abundantly clear how that works. And it looks like he has. Makes a pretty substantial difference, so definitely worth picking up if you can. So it looks like Arborelli has decided to delve deeper into the planet. We are down in the green section of this planet. It's going to be important to definitely get off the surface and start looking in some of these deeper areas, further away from the ship, harder to recover pieces from. And we got these little gravity things, so these little blue orbs will pull you directly in, whereas the orange orbs work as repulsors. They'll push you away, so you can easily get pulled into gravity traps. It makes exploring this particular area very difficult. Oh, it looks like we found yet another piece. Ellie is looking at another optional loot piece. Oh, Ellie has found the first of the pods that are just distributed on the planet, because obviously thinking ahead, our solar jetman, as it were, has decided that he's going to stow some pods across the stage. Sometimes you'll find one, it saves you from having to go all the way back to the ship. They are limited, but they are available, so you can find them just floating about. So we can see different strategies emerging between our two competitors as well, specifically in what they're willing to spend money on, if they're willing to invest in shop stuff or not. Just a reminder, the score itself does not matter. That is basically just fun bucks, spend them if you got them. Definitely worth doing so. And Ellie is fighting the gravity on this planet. That is one of the harder things about this particular planet. For the second stage, it has a very high gravity, so towing stuff is incredibly difficult. And we can see Elia is just trying to figure out like how she's going to get that kind of that momentum and build it up. Meanwhile, Jemian has found more optional loot, pulling it back. Always a good idea. That thing Jemian has found has definitely changed certain aspects of this game. Yeah, even through the shield, that specific turret set just does incredible amounts of damage. Without the shield, obviously, if the ship blows up in one shot. With the shield, you can take a couple hits. For regular bullets, the bullets just knock you back rather than doing any real damage. And Jemian has returned yet another item. Still waiting on our next fuel collection, though. Looks like Ilya has found yet another one of our stowed pods. Alright, and it looks like Ellie has found another fuel pod and is currently trying to clear out the stuff around it. Oh, Jemian has found another fuel pod as well. This is a real close race at this point. As they're both tied in their current fuel deposits, this one is going to determine the lead, so faster they can get it back, the better. We're coming to just about the halfway point of the match. So it's still anyone's game very clearly. And there's slight advantages on both sides. We'll see how those play out. And differences between lives, things found, current totals for score and all of that for purposes of buying stuff. Looks like Elias found yet another item. That was a full heal for your pod. So if you blow it up, it'll immediately bring your ship back to full. It's incredibly useful for if you're trying to avoid some of those big turret hits you might have taken, and if you're out of spare stashed pods. Alright, Jimmy going back to the ship to get another pod. And looks like they're both going back to try and collect that fuel. So, shields up. Again, can't carry stuff when shields are up. It's one of those things where they force you to be vulnerable. This game would be much more tolerable if you could actually protect yourself while towing. But again, that would defeat a little bit of the challenge. And Elia, once again, being pulled down by the weight of things on this planet, it's incredibly heavy. And there's not a lot you can really do about it other than sort of manipulating the physics a bit and not getting stuff stuck in places that you can't get a sort of push out of. And there goes Elia's pod once again. It was deeply unfortunate. But it is important, I will say, for people to clear out stuff as they go, mostly because things that are static don't tend to respawn. It's not everything, it's most things. But it's definitely important to kind of clear that out. The other issue in and of itself is figuring out where they are. So available in the shop between stages is sort of a way to handle that, but unfortunately once you're in a stage you can't do a shop. It's only between stages. And it looks like Jemian is banking his next fuel pod. He's collected enough to get the ship piece, so Jemian is currently in the lead. Now comes the hard part of figuring out where that ship piece is and getting it back. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for our runners. Scope and scale of this planet is much, much larger than the original. I mean, the first one is just a couple little spaces, and this is just a whole big open world. Elliot back to the fuel pod, seeing if she can catch up and get that fuel back up to the ship. Very, very close, getting a bit of a physics boost off of that enemy while hitting it with the ship. Quite the move. Definitely a good move there. Yeah, we can see a little bit in Elia's movement how it's shifting around a bit. So every time that tether shifts, it does impart physics. It's a very surprisingly competent physics engine coming out of the NES. They definitely spent some time figuring out how to make that work. This engine was used in other games, which is part of why it feels very floaty in a regular physics perspective for like platforming and all of that, because it's doing proper physical simulation. It's like Elia is navigating it out, just getting through that little crevice there. We currently have Jemian returning another one of our optional loot pieces. It looks like there's a little one of those spheres that was in the golden ship room. But we can see again that loss of momentum, that sort of that build just kind of making it incredibly difficult. Elia looking like she's just gonna try and get a better maneuvering around that, make that work a little bit better for her. And Jemian is still out there looking for his ship piece. All that can be said is it is somewhere. Everything is somewhere. It seems like he's found a different entrance into the underground. You know, always good to explore every entrance you can possibly find. Looks like Elia has successfully taken care of the counterbalancing, gotten to a point where she's got some upward mobility again. If that can keep up, that could be a ship return. Elia attempting to correct after that slight issue with the swinging. And there we go, more upward momentum. Game's a little jank about how it deals with specifically momentum and swinging, and sometimes it can really exacerbate that inability to keep a thing moving up. A lot of side-to-side movement. Oh, it looks like Jemian has run into his first of the really hard enemies, the ones that move incredibly quickly and shoot and track and do all of the horrible things you don't want in a one-hit death kind of game. Not only do their shots do a substantial amount of damage, but they will directly track you. It's very difficult to get away from them once they're sort of set in on you like that. Oh, and Elia losing her ship, she's going to have to go back and get herself another pod. Thankfully closing a bit of distance, though, between that, and hopefully be able to catch up and get that final fuel amount that she needs. Oh, closing in on 15 minutes. "15 minutes remaining." I apologize. Should have been clear about that. 15 minutes remaining in the match. So we see some of the other things that were purchased by Elliot during the shopping segment, as it were. Yeah. Those can be quite useful. They are relatively difficult to figure out if you're not quite sure what to do with them. It's not explicitly clear. We did not provide instructions, so obviously figuring out the movement, figuring out the controls is all part of the game. Looks like Jemian's found his first stash ship. So he's going to be looking around using that now instead of having to go all the way back to the ship. And we see Ellie trying to pick up that ship component she was looking at earlier. Trying to avoid dealing with some of the enemies coming up from the side of the screen. And there's that downward momentum again. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is where the game really just sort of hits its stride in being incredibly difficult to manage. Elia finding one of these slight physics hacks in this game, and able to capitalize on that for some upward momentum. It's very hard to get a thing going back up as soon as it starts to lose height on this particular planet based on the gravity. Always the hardest thing. Ooh, it looks like Jemian has found his way into the next section. Going through that warp tunnel straight to the area where the golden ship piece is. So he's definitely made some progress here. Very similar to the one that we'd seen previously, only it's just a bit longer. A little bit more complicated, and there are a lot more turrets. Because nothing makes a game better than lots and lots and lots of stationary turrets. Elia is just so close to recovering this piece. Finally see what it is, and I can finally give a little explanation as to what this thing does. Alright, so both of our players have now found the booster. So you can use select and B to thrust. It will give you a bunch of additional power. And it will let you just kind of be able to push stuff, especially when towing, give you that extra bit of momentum. It is, again, one of those optional pieces, but it is very much integral to being able to do some of the later bits in this game. There are a ton of those sorts of things floating around. Like, they're not strictly necessary, but they are incredibly useful to have. So Jemian right now trying to take out the last of the turrets in that golden ship room. Let's see if we can do it. He's very close to being done, and he has died. That was his last life. Jemian is going to have to continue from the password that he had originally been given. So the last password used was that one, so it's going to basically bring him back where he was when he entered stage 2. So it's a little bit to catch up on, but as long as he knows where the things are, going back to them and getting them isn't going to be that deeply complicated. And it looks like Elia's got her last required fuel pod as well. So that will be absolutely fantastic, and that will get her up to the point where she can start looking for that golden ship piece. Booster itself really makes up for towings. The issues in towing, you can correct very heavily for certain things. Using the booster will drain power from your ship, though, so you can blow yourself up by using it too much. It looks like Jemian is looking through the item collections, seeing what he wants to get, picks up an efficient engine, does not pick up a mapping device. Oh, it looks like Elia's found the first of the really hard enemies. Those things are absolutely hard to deal with. But quick shield saved her from losing the ship, which is just quite good. Alright, so Jemian has come back. Jemian had 3 lives going into stage 2, so Jemian had that password contains 3 lives, same amount of score. We see Elliot trying to return that last fuel pod almost there. It should be noted there are more fuel pods than are strictly necessary to get off of the planet on each planet. Oh, just falling short. And there we go. Elliot has now collected all of the fuel required to continue on to the next section and find the ship piece. So they are now tied at this point, although Jemian has a bit of ground to make up for to actually get to the point where he can claim that ship piece again. So it is still very much anyone's match. The game itself it's got really good core ideas, but the movement is very tedious and very hard to work through, which is part of why I believe it falls under the Kusogrande umbrella. So the real question is, can Jemian get back everything he had before that in the time remaining? I think it's possible given how much time is there. Knowing where things are, at least some approximations, is really going to help with that. And we see Elliot taking in that other entrance into the underground, looking for sort of any kind of progression. Planet is just coated in these stationary turrets. Yeah, those particular bullets hit very hard, they will launch you back real far, and they will take a giant chunk out of your health, even with the shield. So it's very important to be aware of just how much damage your shields are going to take in this. After sort of slow walking you into it with, oh, a little touch here, a little touch there is not going to do anything, some bullets will just absolutely destroy that shield. It's like Jemian is working real hard to recover that booster. He's got, it looks like he's got some momentum, although he's got the swing going on, but it seems like he's figured out the other little mechanism for fixing that, which is, counterintuitively, just turn it with the swing. It looks like Elliot is looking for another ship to not have to go all the way back to... Oh, and Elliot just lost a life there. You respawn where you were, though, with your ship. So it is a desperation move if you want to try and just take the loss and get yourself another pod without going all the way back. Granted, this game does have a limited number of lives, so early on that is just not a thing people want to do. Yeah, the gravity pullers are absolutely a problem in this game. They'll just whip you right to them. The repeller's also the same. Looks like Elliot found another stash ship, but a little bit too late for that, unfortunately. And so both far contestants with the thrust boosters definitely going to save a bit of time in collecting those fuel pods. Jemian is just sort of in recovery mode. Still plenty of time to get back to the ship piece. And it's that knowledge of where that ship piece is that's really going to determine, I think, the end of this run. Unfortunately, Jemian losing his pod once again, and I have to go back and get a new one, or find a stash one, if it's around. I mean, the other thing, too, is flying around as a little guy, much more easy to control. There's just no protection for you. It's a one-and-done kind of thing. Touching the sides deals a substantial amount of damage. Touching enemies deals damage in this as well, so the ship can usually take a bonk, take out a ship, something like that, but little dude can't do it. He's just a little guy. The whole open aspect of this planet just makes it so confusing to do without any kind of, like, ability to figure out where you are or have a map to use. There we go, we got another item that was discovered by Elia. Well, it looks like she's going to pass on it. There's Jemmy. Found another fuel pod, one of the ones he'd found earlier in the match. And now it's just a matter of recovery. There are only 2 left before he can start looking for that ship piece again. Looks like Elia has found her way all the way around through the map. It's coming up from the other section that she previously explored. So we will see how this goes. And there she found another one of the fuel pods, one that was not found before, but one that could definitely be used. I believe there are 6 fuel pods on this stage, but there are only 4 that are required to get the ship piece. Yep, so Jimmy is just banking his 3rd fuel pod. He just needs 1 more, and then he can get back to where that golden ship piece is. That's assuming he can find his way back there. A lot of the blind meandering leads you to find stuff without remembering just quite how to get back. Alright, we are closing in on the final 5 minutes of the match. This is where the moves got to happen, people. Hopefully, we will see some movement, getting those fuel pods back, finding those ship pieces. And with any luck, we will see stage 3, if only for a brief moment. Looks like Jimmy lost another life there. Still looking for that 4th fuel pod. Being just a little bit elusive right now. We'll point out Jimmy is still in the lead as he was the first to get 4 fuel pods. Oh, and Elia losing her pod right there. It's going to be a little bit of a time loss trying to find another one. Seems like it's just a mad dash. Oh, and it seems Ellie has found that you can enter those little portals to get back to your ship faster. They exist sort of around the planet. Sometimes you can find them, you can pop in and just go straight back to your ship. It does take you back from where you were and drops you right there, but it's one of those things where it's faster than flying back, in most cases. And Jimmy's still looking for that another fuel pod. Oh, and Jimmy taking an unfortunate death right next to a stowed ship. The turrets themselves, most of the stationary objects that are in this game won't respawn, so once they're gone, they're gone. But all of our enemies that spawn in from the sides, those like flying worm kind of ship things, these smaller orbs that fire things, those will all come back and just pop in randomly at occasion. Looks like Ellie has found another item and is most likely to be bringing that back to the ship. Oh, looks like Jemmy has found the portal again to the golden ship. unfortunately, it's unable to be used because he doesn't have the fuel to get in there, and that's deeply unfortunate. We have 1 minute left, folks. We are right near at the end of the match. If there's going to be a lead change, it's got to happen now. Right now, Jemian is in the lead. Jemian will be the one who's currently, because he found the first 4 fuel pods on this and had the ability to get to the golden ship first. So, forward progress is measured again once again by fuel pod collection and by golden ship piece collection. Alright, we are in the last couple seconds of the match. I don't think anything's going to change from here. And that is time, y'all. So that was round 2, yeah. So Jamie will be moving on.
Alright, hello GDQ. Welcome back to Kuso Live. I am Dolph. I will be the GM for this match. And being me, I was around for the golf at Wrong Holes Only run last night. It was amazing. In memory of Scent, of course. He's fine. This made me remember one of my favorite Kuso games of all time, Snulf. Sonic Golf. So that's what we'll be playing today with our lovely contestants, Alara and Amazing Toaster. Runners, are you ready? Awesome. Please go back to the title screen and we will start from there. Okay, let's get this show on the road. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah, so this, for those of you who aren't aware, Snulf is golf in Sonic 2. All of your controls are golf controls. You press the button, you get to set your power, you get to set your height, and you get to fly. You can also have a mulligan button, which is what you just saw on Alara's screen. Lets you undo your most recent shot, should it have been a horrible mistake. Other than that, this is literally just Genesis Sonic 2. It has the exact same stage layouts, it has the exact same bosses, so we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Especially once we start getting into levels that have water. Yeah, so we don't have a ring counter, but you'll notice that Alara's ring counter, shots counter is blinking. That does mean that she has 0 rings, and you will die if you take damage with 0 rings, just like a normal Sonic. Not really sure why we have a shot counter. It's not terribly useful. But in general, this stage is not too bad. Just go to the right. Go to the right and don't punch the coconut in the face. Do not punch yourself in the face with a coconut. There we go. That is not the thing you want to do. So it looks like Amazing Toaster is taking the bottom route. That requires him to come to a complete stop before he can Snulf, and that is sometimes tricky. You can hold left and right, and Toaster's discovered that if you hold left on a hill, you will start climbing up that hill, but you cannot take a mulligan when you have your shot indicator out, but he has finally come to a complete stop. We're gonna be here for a while. Meanwhile, Alara taking the top route, trying to take the top route. Top route tends to have less obstacles, but you have to stay up, and that's hard. Unfortunately, it looks like Alara has found the exact same spot that Toaster was in a second ago. Meanwhile, Toaster got out of that spot, so Toaster, coming close to the end of the level, hits the final jerk spring. I don't know why that spring is the actual worst. It exists solely to make Snulf speedrunners miserable, because in normal speedrun, you can just jump over that spring. You can't just jump in a Snulf game. You have to come to a complete stop. Or you try to clip through that spring. It's the worst. But we are through Act 1 on Toaster's side. Moving on to Act 2. Oh no! Alara made it to the surface and then immediately fired off a shot in the wrong direction. Yeah, so level 2, Toaster hitting that snowball as hard as possible, never a bad choice. Lines up right against the spring. Now, spikes. Now the spikes are a sprite. When you hit a sprite, you actually will lose all horizontal momentum. Immediately come to a complete halt. And there's some shenanigans you can do too, but we'll see if they discover the shenanigans. Okay, beautiful back chip right on top of the loop. Wow, that is actually exactly where you want to be in the speedrun. So she is off to the races now. Just gonna zoom in and jerk spring. Whatever programmer decided that the end of this level needed a spring on the main path, I hate you forever. So yeah, so she's a little trapped. You can come to a complete and full stop, which is what you have to do, and then nice little chip shot will take Alara to the end of level 1. So how's Toaster doing? Alara just fell to the floor. Okay. Welcome to, welcome to Snulf. Welcome to Kuso Live. That has happened before. I have not had it happen exactly there, but this is Sonic games. Sonic games are generally known for having physics. Are they good physics? Not the point. So this is the first boss of Sonic. In a normal Sonic game, you're just kind of jumping up and down and bopping him on the head. That's a lot harder here, but Tolf, our caddy, has already gotten 1 hit. Gotten 2 more hits right there. It looks like Toaster has a strat here of just jump in the air and let the caddy take care of things. That is really the secret to golf, is the caddy does all the hard work, the golfer just looks cool and gets all the money. And with that, Tolf gets the kill. We are through, but we are not done with the level yet because we still have the final boss of the stage. That's right, we have to land on top of a very small platform. We like to call this the capsule boss. It is actually difficult. Sometimes Tolf will have mercy on you and will get the capsule boss for you. We'll see if that happens. Meanwhile, Alara finishing up the first stage. Very well done. And that is a capsule boss cleared for Toaster. So it's a full stage lead, but that lead will not last for long because we are entering Chemical Plant. And as all of you probably remember, Chemical Plant has water hazards. It also has the best music. Okay, so good first shot. We do have 2 alternate paths. I actually have no idea which of the 2 alternate paths Amazing Toaster landed on. Could be either. Taking a big, powerful shot, this is a nice place to be on the whole. You do want to avoid that spider enemy. Oh, that is a beautiful shot right there, clipping right onto the path. Yeah, Alara a little low on rings. Okay, Tolf demonstrating what happens if you touch the spike with no rings. It's fine. Okay, yeah. So if you touch the spike as you're going up, you will lose all horizontal momentum. So that is what happened right there. Yeah, okay, so bit of difficulty from Toaster getting up that ramp. Sometimes all you can do is just, ooh, and right into the spike. That is unfortunate. Okay. So it does send the Alara back to the start, but that's not too much time lost. These first couple levels are pretty small. If you just gotta whack that Snulf ball. And Toaster is into the stage. Oh my goodness. Okay. So what we're going to have Toaster do is we're going to have them press Shift and Tab on the keyboard. That will cause the emulator to go into turbo mode. And time out, sending him back to the start of the stage. So we've got a bit of time in the penalty box while we're waiting. Tolf trying to help, cannot help. Come on, Tolf. You can. If you try really hard, you can get Sonic out of there. Okay, so Alara found the spring. She's also discovered that if you press left or right while bouncing perfectly vertical off of a spring, it works. You can just press left and right. It's really convenient. It's like actual controls. Yeah, thank you to Dr. Melon. Dr. Melon is the creator of this ROM hack, has worked closely with me to do all of the things I ask of them when I have completely unreasonable requests, like, could we make Marble Garden work? And could we make Lava Reef? There's a couple zones that did not work initially. Okay, Alara threw that gap onto the boss. Amazing Toaster, meanwhile, still zipping through that time, about halfway through. Another maybe 2 minutes in the penalty box for Amazing Toaster. Direct hit from Alara, very nice. That's, yeah, so already up to about 4 hits. One of the dangers with this is that if Tolf hits the boss, you no longer really have it can screw up the iframes a little bit, and that can make it really hard. That was a really quick boss kill, very well done. And with that, Alara gets her first shot at the capsule boss. So just gotta land the Snulf ball on top of a small yellow platform in the air. Come on, Tolf. You can get him out. Oh, a little too much power. A little too much power. Okay. Ooh, beautiful chip shot. That is what we love to see from a professional snulfer. And with that, Alara is going to be entering Chemical Plant. Not long, and Amazing Toaster will get the time over about 20 seconds from now, so not going to be too much of a... Yeah, it's basically back to a tie. We are back to a tie. Alara getting over that lip. That lip can be a little tricky. If you don't hit it with enough speed, you will just sort of fall back down. And if you hit it with too much speed, you will go up into the air for about an hour. So you do want to find a nice balance between those two extremes. And that is the time over. Amazing Toaster back into the level. Alright, so nice big shot there. Hopefully we will not see any more clipping into walls. We've had both players clip into a wall so far. Probably a bit more painful for Toaster, having to sit there and watch his time slowly tick away. The inexorable march of time gets to us all in the end. Causes all the time over, really. But Toaster does have some experience now. Knows not to launch himself at full speed into a slope like that, because you will just fall into the floor. We do use that intentionally a couple points in the speed run for this game. You can very deliberately fall through the floor, and if there is not a floor, if there's not a wall in the way, falling through the floor can be useful. Unfortunately, there's often a wall in the way. Okay, so getting around this curve right here from Amazing Toaster, very nice control of the power. That is what you have to do to get around that. Meanwhile, Alara threw deep into the level now. This is basically the same as the capsule boss. Have to land right on top of that little platform. Looks like Tolf just got it. Oh, beautiful chip shot. That, again, love to see it. You do, however, now have to get the ball into the hole. That is how golf is played. This can be very tricky to get that min power shot, to just not zip over it. Yeah, that's what you don't want to do. We're seeing excellent. That is exactly what you don't want to do right now, but should hopefully get it in very soon. There we go, right into the zip line. Zip line? Pneumatic tubes. There we go. They're pneumatic tubes. So, this is one of the very strange parts of Sonic games where you have to go left. Alara, it looks like Alara has found the secret platform onto the left. This is Alara. Oh, that is a very smart shot from Alara, because that will actually go over the entire level straight to the end of the stage. That is Act 1 in the books for Alara, and I have to remember that I can't throw myself backwards away from the microphone. Yeah, so on to Act 2. Act 2, the one with water. So, let's see how long it takes for Alara to find her first water hazard. Over the wall again. What a shot. Yeah, there's a lot of... It takes a while for the Sonic developers to realize that they should make walls a little bit taller than they have in this game. Really, it was around around like the 3rd or 4th zone of Sonic 3 and Knuckles is where they figure this out, because they give you Tails as a playable character and you can fly. And they're like, wait a second, you can just fly over half of Hydrocity. Also, Hydrocity, that is how you pronounce it. Fight me. Yeah. So Amazing Toaster trying to get his own ball into the hole. And does it very well done. Again, the short game, very hard part of Sonic. Again, this is the weird part where you actually have to go left and not right. I don't know why. It makes no sense. And a little preview of the Tetris blocks we're going to have so much fun with in a few minutes, as we slowly roll our way to victory. And we have found the water hazard. Going straight into the drink is Alara. Now, we do have infinite lives for our players, so we don't have to worry about losing too much time. However, we do have water hazards, so we're going to be here for a while. I'm sure we all remember how much we all struggled with in our first casual playthrough of Sonic 1 to get up the Tetris blocks in the first place. And just getting to those Tetris blocks is going to be a struggle. This first water jump is a doozy. We have moving platforms, landing on top of a static platform already. We saw how challenging that was with the actual capsule boss. And now we're just making it move too. That is so rude. But we did get an extra life. The life counter will tick up. It will not tick down, but it will tick up. What happens if you get over 100 lives? I don't know. Players, please do not try to find out. But yeah, so Amazing Toaster, meanwhile, is climbing up the non-water-fied Tetris blocks. So these are still pretty hard. It's easier than trying to get up them when they're water, because again, you don't have air control when you're a Snolf ball. Your shot. These are sprites, which means you will lose all horizontal momentum when you hit them, but you cannot press left or right in the air. Toaster has discovered, however, that you can do other things in the air that are occasionally useful, such as air snolfing. It is possible to snolf in midair, and Toaster has discovered this. Very useful piece of tech. Don't know if Toaster knows quite why, so I'm not going to tell him because that's funnier. But we are slowly climbing the staircase. We made it to the 3rd of 4 steps on this first one. And once you're up top on this first one, you get to have a chance to make it out of here. You know, Alara still struggling a bit with that first doozy of a water hazard. Nice. Toaster gets himself pushed up top, but unfortunately cannot get out of the way of the Tetris blocks in time. That is a death back to the start for him. And unfortunately the first Badnik did fire a fireball. And we are past the first water hazard. Unfortunately, that means we're now going to enjoy everyone's favorite part of the Sonic game. That's right. We're going to have some drowning music coming up soon. We are not removing drowning from this game. That would be cheating. Oh, okay. Nope. Did get an air snolf at the end there, but unfortunately could not react in time. That is possibly the hardest part of any snolf game ever, is making it up these Tetris blocks while underwater. Meanwhile, Toaster makes it up the Tetris block of his own. Gonna keep on climbing up. I don't know if Toaster has a route in mind. I imagine that he doesn't know this level like the back of his hand. But there are many routes through any Sonic stage, and some of them have significantly less water hazards than others. So we'll see where Toaster winds up. Okay, looks like Alara is gonna just try to make a nice ginger shot right to the edge. Ooh, did not have quite enough height to make it across that gap. Unfortunate, but she is getting the hang of what you have to do here. Now, Toaster has completely given up on going left. It's completely resolved to try to go up. I respect this decision entirely. Unfortunately, going up is not an easy thing to do. Gravity, being a jerk, refusing to let you go upwards. Okay, Alara is back to the water. She knows what's coming. She knows the second she goes to the right, the water will spawn. And as you go higher up, the water itself will get higher. If you get a good clean shot, you can get yourself a nice, ooh, beautiful shot, but she is low on time because, oh, right onto a little platform. She is out of the drink. Can she commit? Can she? Okay, this is fine, She's so close. She's discovered air snolfs as well, it looks like, so, which is an excellent thing to know about. She is out of the, oh, she's, unfortunately, she bounced off of an invisible wall. Those are the most annoying kinds of walls. Oh, this is so tight. Oh no! Oh no! 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 You do not want to fall back down here. With the up. Okay. She's on the final set of blocks. Can she make it to safety? Can she make it to dry land? Come on! Yes! We are in the clear. We are out of the goop. Beautiful platforming from Alara. Meanwhile, Amazing Toaster looks like he is still resolved to go upwards. Oh no! Falls back down. Unfortunate. Well, she has to come to a complete stop before she can smell. Oh, she started a shot. She can no longer. The mulligan was a good instinct, but once you start a shot, you can no longer take a mulligan. It is unfortunate. And that drowning music. Okay, she's rocking back and forth. She has found her way up. Okay. I do not think she's going to make it out in time. I am sorry for making you all relive the memories of drowning in this game. No, I'm not. Meanwhile, it looks like Amazing Toaster has found himself a checkpoint. I'm not sure exactly if this might be the same checkpoint that Alara is restarting from. I am not sure. This is a different angle than I usually approach this level from. Okay, there is a bonus stage. Toaster could enter the bonus stage if he wants to. Does he want to? No. So Toaster is going on. It looks like that is in fact the same checkpoint that Alara has been responding from. So we do have a tie, which means that Toaster now gets to enjoy underwater Tetris platforming action. Alara is getting really darn good at this. Toaster also immediately gets out. My goodness. I expect them to be stuck here for the next hour. Not gonna lie. But we have both players getting very quick mastery. Unfortunately, both players also discovering that climbing up the water is only the beginning. Alara with a beautiful bank shot and Toaster with the same bank shot. Keep both of them out of the drink. Can they make it up without falling again? Alara cannot. Alara cannot. But Alara's learned a lot here. She knows the secret path. She knows both players know the secret path. I think at this point. That you can just go completely around. Unfortunately, Toaster taking a bit of a dive. That is probably going to be death for Toaster. Looks like he has resigned to his fate. So we're back in the chem plant. Alara taking another shot at the Tetris blocks. Meanwhile, Toaster struggling with staircases. We were warned about stairs by our Lord and Savior Claptrap. Unfortunately, we did not listen. We did not respect how hard it was for a wheeled individual to make it up a staircase. And now we're a golf ball. Now we feel Claptrap's pain. And what's Claptrap going to do? He's going to laugh at us. We deserve that laughter. We must accept that we're going to get laughed at by Claptrap. Alara, that little chip shot there, unfortunately, cannot stick the landing and goes back into the drink. She's trying to go left. Unfortunately, there is a roof there. These are the exact same spikes I think that Toaster died to a second ago. And again, Alara similarly resigned to her fate. Both players are going to respawn at the same time. Yeah, so this is, I believe, so right now Alara has made it very slightly further into the level. But I do mean slightly. It is about like one jump. One snulf, you might even say, into the level further than Toaster. Very easy for either of them to make up that difference. Meanwhile, Toaster, it looks like Toaster might be trying to get up to that upper platform. If so, that is not a bad instinct. Alara just trying to get some rings. Look at it. Okay, yeah, Alara also trying to get up to that platform. Both of them deciding they are sick and tired of the water hazards. Understandable. Nobody likes water. It is, yeah, nobody likes water. It's the one they give you for free, right? If it was a good drink. Oh, so it sounds by that sound of the clapping that Alara, while I was making a very bad joke, made it up top. Unfortunately, she is now walled by Tetris blocks, does get crushed underneath their weight. So Toaster lining up his shot. Yeah, just getting those min power shots can be very tricky, but very rewarding once you get good at them. That is going to be a little too much power from Toaster as well. He's going to want to really time that to be just very slight on the power, all on the height, and ooh, cannot quite make it up from the bottom. Oh, but Alara does. Alara does make it up there. Now, can she make it around without falling off? She cannot. Okay, but she knows exactly how to get up there. She's made it up there twice now. She'll make it up there a third time in no time. Toaster, meanwhile, still has not found exactly the right combination of power and strength. Yeah, Alara clearly knows exactly the settings that she wants for this jump. Going full power, gets on top of the blocks. That'll be through the blocks for her. Now, what awaits her at the far end of the spring? That's right, she's right back where she was. All roads lead to water, it turns out. But again, she does know how to get... She is getting really good at climbing up the water hazard. Let me tell you, that is not an easy shot. Yeah. Just needs to get that little ginger hop. Does fall back down. Path switches. That was a weird path switch. Huh. Anyway, yeah, so just like in normal Sonic games, we do have a foreground and background later, essentially. When you're on that's how it decides which of the two paths you take, is whether you're on the foreground or background later. But switching between them works really weird from the perspective of someone who's not playing through the game correctly. As someone who is playing through it as a snowfall. Looks like Toaster just not giving it enough height on that shot, unfortunately. Yeah, he can see that it is possible to get enough height, but he is just hitting it a little too weakly. All right, so Alara gingerly going through, coming back to the... Yeah, Alara no longer trying to take that upper path, going to just try to go back through the obvious path along the water hazards. Toaster still trying to make it up there. I don't think he's gotten a successful jump up there yet, but he knows it's possible because I've been announcing it in commentary. This is some of the advantages you don't normally get in a Kuso match, is knowing what your opponent has done. Does make that jump very nice. Now, can he make it past the Tetris wall? Okay. So he's hugging the Tetris blocks. He's hugging them. Meanwhile, Alara has positioned herself at the very edge. She's gonna go across. She knows what's coming for her. Oh, and the platforms being complete jerks immediately drop her down. She has come to a complete stop directly underneath them, and yes, she is popping herself right back up. Discovered that she can in fact do that. Very good thing to learn. That these platforms only exist from above. They will not stop you from jumping through them. However, she does have to land on a platform up top, and that is not free. Very nice. Gets up to the area with these little floating platforms. Now it's got to get a little chip shot to the right. Very nice. And there's a zip. I think she's afraid of it, but she does hit it. She hits a checkpoint, and she is through all the way to another water hazard. But that is a huge progress, making it to that checkpoint. Okay, looks like Amazing Toaster also getting pretty good at making it up the Tetris blocks underwater. Now he's just got to make it off of these platforms. That is not the way to do it. Unfortunately, going to go back into the drink, but he knows how to get out of this. Yeah, so it looks like Alara struggling to successfully survive that first initial jump. There are ways to control yourself a bit more. We'll see if... Toaster, stop clipping through the floor. Okay, I think you're fine. Okay, you are in fact fine. Now there is one way in which he is not fine, which is that he did not hit the checkpoint. However, He has now died at exactly the same place that Alara died. So that's something. But yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I'm gonna just say that was weird. Toaster, please respect the sanctity of walls. Toaster refuses to respect the sanctity of walls. Okay. But yeah, Alara, so look, yeah, it comes to a complete halt, now just has to make a little jump across this water. That is not going to get her all the way across, unfortunately, but she's going to make it across very soon, I am confident. Yep, and we are now at this, that is the exact loop which Toaster clipped into, somehow. Sonic does not have real physics. Sonic games don't have great physics. I think everyone knows this, but we're seeing it in new and exciting ways. Yeah, so Alara setting herself up, taking a nice big thwack of the snowball ball, makes it across the gap. That is a lead, back in the lead for Alara, no longer a tie. And now she is at the boss arena. Now, as everyone knows, this boss arena is just nice and it is over more water hazards. So you gotta dodge those water hazards. It's very hard in Snulf to move quickly side to side. It's very hard in Snulf to make a quick jump. So surviving the water hazards is absolutely a challenge. However, she did get, I believe, 2 hits on the boss before dying. So that is our lead, is 2 hits on the Chemical Plant Zone boss. We will see if anyone can top that. We have about 17 minutes left in the match, though, so there is still a ton of time remaining. It is still anyone's race. So yeah, Alara knows the secret to getting across the gap. Unfortunately, angling your shots exactly is definitely an art, not a science. It is very hard to get exactly the same angle on every shot. It is doable, but it is not easy. Yeah, both of our players, discovering how wonderful it is to be an animal who cannot swim. Everyone, please learn how to swim. Otherwise, when you become a snulf ball, you will die in water hazards, and then you'll be sad. So that's why you should all learn how to swim. You're welcome. Yeah, so Toaster back in the underwater Tetris blocks of Doom. Struggling a little bit to find the exact angle. This is the normal experience of just slowly but surely falling further down. Does get nice and onto the right, times his shot, gets out of the water. Now, when you get out of the water in Snulf, your physics change completely. You actually gain a ton of momentum. It looks like Toaster is now trying to deliberately clip into the floor. Bold strategy. We'll see how that works out from him. Does go off to the left into the drink, but we'll see. Okay, he's trying to jump straight back out. That is probably a good strategy. That is what I would recommend. Unfortunately, he is now slowly falling to his doom. Meanwhile, I don't think Alara has successfully made it back to the boss. This is a bit of a doozy getting over there. Even if you make it, because again, even if you make it across these gaps, you still have to deal with, I don't know how Toaster didn't get crushed there, but unfortunately he's probably going to drown. You still have to deal with the fact that platforms going beneath you, and you have to get hits, and you have to hope that Tolf doesn't like hit the boss at the worst possible moment, causing you to die. There are so many things that can go wrong in this boss fight. Yeah, Toaster knows exactly where he needs to go. He just needs to get there. Meanwhile, Alara comes to a complete halt on top of the secret platform underneath in the water, but cannot get herself out of it. That is another death for Alara. Yeah, Toaster struggling a little bit getting the timing right on this shot. It's just completely understandable. This shot is harder than it looks, and I think it looks pretty darn hard. Meanwhile, Alara finds an alternative path into the boss arena, meaning that she no longer has to jump across. the platform that she's been struggling with so much. And also is invulnerable for like 5 more seconds, which is very useful. Big jump straight into the air. That is definitely one way of hitting. Unfortunately, so she hits the boss. Very strong hit, very powerful hit. Shows the boss who's boss, and then ricochets into the drink. Unfortunately, the boss does punch back. I am really hoping that Toaster can recenter himself, get himself out of this pit. Because again, the lead is 2 hits on the boss. That is, you need 8 hits to kill. So there's so much room for both players to advance. Alara is slightly stuck on a springboard. It's fine. She got off. You can do air snalls off of that. Okay, so Alara is lining up her shot. She knows exactly how much wind there is on this stage. There is no wind on this stage. This game is not that evil. But unfortunately cannot get that chip shot. That chip shot is just is the bane of her. Second or third time here, she did get across, but I don't know if she's gotten across since. Looks like Toaster should be getting out of the Tetris blocks on this. You can hold the button down to mulligan, but you must not be moving or otherwise be able to do a snulf when you mulligan. So if you've done if you know why you can do air snulfs, and you can do an air snulf in that moment, you cannot take a mulligan. Toaster lining himself up for the shot, gets across, very nicely done. Will he react in time? He will not. Okay. What will he do now? He looks like he's going straight up. That is 100% the right choice. Just now has to land on top of those UFOs. This is definitely a tricky shot. Or just make it straight onto the platform. Beautiful shot. And that is through the checkpoint. He is now on the exact same checkpoint as Alara. And he has discovered the water pit that is Alara's bane. So that is the final water hazard before the boss. Not the final water hazard of the stage, of course, because the boss also a water hazard. We like water hazards in this stage. Also, even if they beat this stage, they're just going to have more water hazards because it'll be aquatic ruin. Sonic, welcome to Snulf. Yeah, there are 10 minutes remaining in the match. That is just enough time for any of them to time over at normal speed. So let's see what our players can do in the final 10 minutes of this Snulf. Nice chip shot from Alara. She is on to the boss arena. Let's see how many hits she gets. One hit is all she can get. Unfortunately, the platform immediately betraying her, as all platforms do in the end. If you jump on top of a platform enough, we all know from physics that you will eventually quantum tunnel through it. You just didn't realize how true that was until you saw Snulf. Looks like Alara has managed to track switch herself onto the wrong side of the loop. She's going to have to find an alternative way around that loop now because she can no longer enter it because the game thinks she's already on the far side. It's okay. She's fine. Just has to angle a very silly shot. Or alternatively, she can backtrack and find a water hazard and die. That would also fix the stage. And that might be her better option. Going to be honest. There are other paths you can find, but you might want to backtrack and just take a death. I will suggest that. Yep, so we died here plenty of times. I think our players are very familiar with how to die from this point. Yep. Just go down. This is much easier than going up. The game helps you go down. So, you know, very nice and easy. Looks like Toaster has found the strat for getting across the bridge, and Toaster is onto the boss. Now, remember, our lead is 2 hits. If we can see a 3rd hit, there will be a lead change. And we do not see a single hit because Toaster has discovered that the platforms will betray him. They will betray us all. This game does not love you. Yeah, coming to a halt at exactly the right moment is a lot harder than it looks. So yeah, so Laura back in it, taking her time through the loops. Yeah, it comes to a halt right at the right spot. She knows the spot that she wants. She knows the power that she wants. She knows the height that she wants. Back to the boss arena. She's taking her time now. It looks like she's trying to do a chip shot. Okay, she is safe. I was not 100% sure if she'd be safe there or not. Gets the first hit. Does not go into the drink. Excellent done. 2 hits. Does not beat her PB, but she is definitely figuring this out. Toaster, meanwhile, has made it to the boss arena, but did not survive long enough to see the boss. So that is where we are for both players. Yeah, so Toaster, making sure to go slow. If you go fast here, you will just go into the drink. Yeah, like that. That was too fast. It's got to go a little bit slower than that. Yeah, Chemical Plant Zone does not play gentle, does not play nice. All of the Sonic games don't play that nice. All of them have a very rude second level. If you know the secret to how to beat Marble Zone is probably the least rude second stage in any Salt Snolf game. But if you try to go underground, you'd be dealing with lava instead of water. Is that an improvement? I don't know. I think right now the players would probably prefer lava to water. I think they are very sick of water. I think they will never drink water again. Okay, we are back to the boss. Alara tried to do a little mini hop. It does not get there. She missed the boss. You can hit the boss from above and you can juggle on it, but you can also miss it. That is actually what we do in the speedrun, is we do juggle ourselves on top of the boss and then pray that the game doesn't kill us when we land. It's a pretty great speedrun strat, praying that the game does not try to kill you. And people thought RNG was just a thing in RPG speedruns. Nope, it's everywhere. Amazing Toaster lands on the secret bottom platform, trying to figure out how to chip himself out of here. It's doable. It's definitely doable, but it is hard to climb this staircase without also falling in the water, especially because you are very low time limit. Toaster finds the air snarl to get out, but gives himself a tiny bit too much power back into the drink. Meanwhile, Alara getting another attempt at the boss, or at making it to the boss. We'll see if the floor betrays her. The floor does not betray her. Excellent job right into the platform. Looks like she is going with low power shots. That is an excellent choice. Unfortunately, does not learn her lesson, gives it max power on the second shot, meaning we are still at a 2-shot PB for Alara. But we are going to see that third shot hit very soon. We are also down to the final 5 minutes of the match. Very little time left for our runners. Toaster is not out of it though. It only needs 3 hits on the boss. And he might once he sees the boss, once he survives the boss arena, he might immediately figure out how to get these hits on the boss and quickly overcome it. Does land on the lower platform again. It looks like he has a bit of a better angle this time. Can just get out of the drink directly. Gonna need a careful shot to not die. That is not the careful shot to not die. Unfortunate. Yeah, those near vertical chip shots are a doozy. Meanwhile, Alara knows her spot. Alara knows her shot. She is back into the boss arena. Unfortunately, the floor does betray her. Okay. That is how this stage do. Yeah, we got 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Both players just got to recenter themselves, take a big, deep breath, and survive. All right, both of our players are lining up their shot to get across the drink. Okay, Laura tried to take it from the middle platform. Toaster went down. Looks like Toaster made the right choice there. Toaster, almost makes it across. Can he? Nope. Was wondering if he tried to take a mulligan there, but he did not take the mulligan. Okay, Toaster zooming through this section. Comes to a slow... Okay. Yeah, so Laura on the bottom platform can make it out, but has to get a very careful angle. You need to go minimal to the right and a lot up from that to make it out. Unfortunately, climbing back up the stairs is very hard. You need to know very good at making... Ooh, okay, so Laura has gotten very good at doing that quick double tap for the Min Snulf, but was not quite right. The Toaster goes into the drink, but takes the mulligan, gets back out, and he is through to the boss arena now. He sees the platforms there to betray him. Does not give enough power, though. Unfortunate. Back to the checkpoint for him. Laura, meanwhile, lining up for another shot. Makes it to the boss arena. Stops in that safe middle platform. Can she get a third hit? She needs to... The boss has not actually spawned. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, Toaster has made it across the jump. Just has to get up this little staircase. Again, we warned you about stairs. There's 1:40 left in the match. There's so little time. Will we see a lead change at the very end? Not yet, we won't. Okay, Alara, both players, these are their final attempts. They don't have much time left to make it across. Alara does successfully summon the boss this time. Gets one hit. Goes into the drink. That is not a PB, but it's still her game to lose. We are soon entering the final minute. This is coming down to the wire. Can Amazing Toaster see the boss? Can Amazing Toaster make it through this loop? These are both open questions right now. I don't know. Okay, Amazing Toaster makes it to the loop, but that is a lot of speed. That is way too much speed. Way too much speed into the drink. And Alara into the drink as well. There are 35 seconds in the match. Will Toaster see the boss? Come on, Toaster. You can do it. You can see the boss. Not going to see the boss. Oh, no. 25 seconds. There's still time for one last attempt, though. Alara taking that bottom platform. Should be an easy chip shot, relatively speaking. Yep, makes it out. Alara's going to at least see the boss one last time. We have 10 seconds. And that is Amazing Toaster back into the drink. That is going to be it from our players. Let's give them a big round of applause. What a match. But that will be Alara moving on to the semifinals tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for playing, Toaster. Hope you enjoyed the Snulf experience.
No.
Okay, we gotta...
Just indicate when I'm live. Hello and welcome back to Kusogrande Live at SGDQ 2024. I am the GM for this particular match. My name is Ritz Blues. This is only the second time I've ever done GMing, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Today's match, we have David TKI, go ahead and raise your hand, and Nardi20. All right, we have to swap nameplates real quick. A little bit of groundwork here. This is a VR game. If you get motion sick easily, I do not recommend you look at the screen at any point because it's going to get shaky. Okay, we have our... Yep, Nardi, could you just wave your hand in front of your face real quick? Yep, all right, we're good. All right, runners, if you are ready, go ahead and grab the green book, but don't push the button yet. All right, we'll count it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Push it again to start it. There you go. All right, so it's gonna load here.
Only Tarzan can save lives.
And And all right, we have a false start here. Folks, press your menu buttons real quick. Apologies. I need you to go to return to home, hit reset save data. Knew I forgot a step. Menu button, reset save data, yes.
Over here, you will find your comic collection.
Hit yes.
You can pick them
All
up
right,
and use
let's go
them
ahead
to
and
be
restart that.
transported into a world of excitement and
apologies.
adventure. Or so they tell me. I prefer real books.
I should
Then
point
again,
out, audio balancing in
IQ.
this game is a nightmare. It goes up and it goes down a lot. Okay, so be prepared to adjust it. All right, runners, you may open your comics, but do not press the button to trigger it yet. All right, everybody ready?
Not sure. Not sure if David actually got a reset on the save.
Okay. David, could you open your menu one more time, please? And then hit reset save data one more time. We have a,
Life of
just so
men and
yes.
women at stake.
All right, data
Only
cleared.
Tarzan
That looks
can
good.
save
All right,
lives.
you can close that menu. Yep. Oops, it's okay.
I am Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
Go back to the main menu, please.
Well, Tarzan.
Return to home, if you can see it. Oh, we have lost Nardi's connection.
Over here, you will find your comic collection. You can pick them up and use them to be transported into a world of excitement and adventure. Or so they tell me. I prefer real books. Then again, I have an IQ.
Church and We'll get back.
Okay. Runners, if you are ready, grab and open your book, but do not click the button. Okay, Nardi, you can open your comic. All right. Let's count it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Life of men and women at stake. Only Tarzan can save life.
I am Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
There we go. All right, we have a run here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tarzan VR, a game originally released on PlayStation VR. I believe 2018 was its original release date, but this was, I think, a 2020 or 2022 release for Oculus Quest 2, and that is what the runners are playing on here. This is the original release of the game. It has since been patched with some slightly nicer features and graphics, but I love the charm of this initial version. So at the beginning here, both runners are climbing a coconut because Jane wants a coconut. So you can just climb up to the top of the tree, grab a coconut, and Jane wants a coconut. So, although I don't know where Jane actually is at the level. Oh no, Jane's been kidnapped in Nardi's game. We have a slight lead here. Seems like bad guy has come to take it. Jane in trouble. Let's save her. All right, David has grabbed and dropped a coconut. And Nardi has met our first NPC. Tarzan is friend of the apes and must follow the apes to help save Jane from Badman. All right, David's eating some coconuts. Let's go see if we can find Jane. You can go on. Yep, you're ready to find Jane. You're good. All right, so reach out and grab Nardi, and let's swing from some vines, everybody. Get ready for motion sickness. This is not Tarzan VR. It should be George of the Jungle. Pretty good start on Nardi, but those are the beginner swings, so. All right, Nardi here now learning how to run. So in order to run, ball your hands in a fist and swing them in the air. to go faster. I'm not kidding. You need to make a running motion with your hands to go faster. And that's the strat for the entire run. So those of you who are aspiring VR developers, may I suggest not doing this? Now, thankfully, in the updated version of this, they do have an option that is auto run, but we're not playing that version. So just reach out and grab. One thing that you may eventually notice is there's sort of a nuance to understanding when you can and cannot grab a vine. I'm not ready to disclose that information yet. We're going to let the runners figure that out for a few minutes first before I drop that little hint of information. Oh, Nardi has fallen in and has died. And so has David. So the second set of vines here is definitely more tricky because they're not a perfectly straight line and they are very far apart. And it's a little tricky to figure out how they work. Already making progress here. Let's see if we can reach the next vine there. There we go. It doesn't help that the you can only see about 20 yards in front of you before it's pitch black in the jungle. Another death to Nardi. Let's see how far David can reach here. So, big reaches here for each of the players. And another fall for David. Definitely a little tricky to get your hand around the vines here in this. So one of the things that you can do, definitely the angle in which you hold your hand does affect whether or not you can reach a vine. There's unfortunately no visual indication of this. You just sort of have to grab and hope without letting go of the other vine. Okay. So, those of you who are familiar with VR haptics, these controllers for the Quest 2 do have vibration settings turned on. And one of the things that David has turned around and returned where he came. The haptics do work in this game. That is one last hint that I'm going to throw out here. They are actually indicative. So. Nardi getting some big air on this vine here, but can't quite seem to grasp the next one. And another death to Nardi. David reaching, can he get it? Okay, Nardi getting a rhythm here. So, all right. If you feel the controller vibrate while you're extending your hand towards a vine, it means that you have locked onto it. So tilt your hand until you feel a rumble, and you will be able to grab a vine. Definitely a difficult first set of vines here, but thankfully most of the game isn't bottomless pits like this, but this first one is definitely brutal. Nardi getting big air on this first vine. Just need a little more grip there. So you don't actually have to touch the vine. They do sort of springboard into your hand if you get the correct angle. All right, Nardi's got a second one there. And a third. Seems like she might have a rhythm. And there we go. And we're rounding the corner here. Nardi has made the most progress so far on this second chasm. Almost. So luckily, you don't have to let go of your previous vine before grabbing the next one under most circumstances.
Whole game going to be this dark?
Well, It is mostly dark though. Like in the main areas where you can see like land and stuff, you will still see like a lot more things in color. And the later levels are more blue, but still like that much fog.
Because like they can't see it.
Okay, cool. I don't know how to adjust it.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. All right, David rounding the corner here. Grabbing another vine there. Oh, almost, no! Oh no, so close. And Nardi hanging on there, hanging on for dear life. It does take a little bit to get a rhythm with these. There we go, David grabbing another vine there. Oh, Nardi grabbing next one along the line there, and another one in sequence. Nardi getting a re-grab on the original vine, trying to get a little extra momentum, trying to move on to the next one. Oh no, and plummets to her doom. Whoa, David, you good? Okay. Okay. There we go, David. Moving on. Yep. So good momentum on Nardi's opening swings here, but can't quite grab the next vine there. And David has made it across. That deserves applause, absolutely. So, David's moving on. We have to smash that lock. Good hitboxes. There we go. No grabbing the gorilla, unfortunately. But the gorilla is going to lead on to the way to Jane. Nardi taking another death there, trying to get through the vines. So, David taking a sweet casual stroll through the jungle as the gorilla runs ahead as fast as he can.
Great Tarzan, it's good you here. Much trouble today. We go. Follow.
We find another gorilla friend and more jungle to run through. And another fall for Nardi. David making it through yet another gorilla gate here. Nardi grabs... Oh, just lost it there. Okay, David has made it to another gorilla in a cage here. Let's see if we can rescue our friend Babu. Babu means well, but Babu is small. David opting not to stick around for the cutscene, and that's fine. Moving on, finding a clue.
Useful, Tarzan. You can follow us.
If only the hitboxes worked. Turning around, listening in on more gorilla conversation here as Nardi continues swinging through the vines. Oh no, another fall.
I hope Tarzan finds this.
And David has reached the next checkpoint in the game. It seems like the bad man has brought the boys who are going to stay alert. After breaking a radio, Tarzan is continuing down the tallway here. David touching fire. Ready for a fight here. Let's go, fight, David. You got him, you got him, you got this. And that's a good fight. One soldier down as he melts into the ground. Good fight. Already grabbing another vine here, rounding the corner. David finding another soldier. Fisticuffs round 2. Blocking and punching there. Seems the soldier has dropped there. Ooh, coconuts. Tarzan's favorite food. Just break and eat. Yum! All right, Tarzan feeling much better at this point. Nardi's making good progress here. Reaching the next vines. Got it, got it. Oh, get that grab. Yo, the save. Good save. And flies past that one, but gets... Oh, not quite the skip. A valiant effort on Nardi's end there. David making his way further through the tunnels here. Back to the original manual that was left behind. A new one there, another piece of evidence, and bananas to eat. Yum. Oh, surprise attack. Wow, Nardi's got huge air. What a jump. Wow. I don't think I've ever flown that high in this game before. David discovering another coconut. Healing after that very tough battle. And what's this? Oh, ouch. Ooh, ooh, that hurt. David, barely hanging on, finds a collectible music disc. Unfortunately, no bananas left on the tree. A smashable box. Nothing useful appears to be inside. David continuing through the deep part of the jungle here.
He's down there in the jungle.
Oh.
Slow him down.
Tarzan, up here!
Smiley face, Nardi. It's a smiley face. Bottom of the edge. Click the smiley face. Did it work? Oh no. That's a reset on Nardi.
Gorgeous.
David has acquired the mighty axe. Let's see. I think it takes a minute for it to load here, Nardi. Unfortunate that the reset occurs here. It should still have your save point if there was a checkpoint that you reached. So once you can get back to the main hub world, you can go ahead and grab the green book and continue on. Oh, David has landed in the water. So now we get to learn how to swim before we drown. So grip buttons and move those hands so you don't drown, David. There we go. That's right. That's the way to learn right there. Just get thrown in the deep end and hope you make it. Okay, Nardi has resumed where she left off, back to the vine path at the beginning. David is struggling to breathe here, but staying on surface, treading water pretty well, and has made it back to the vine somehow by grabbing them and springing back into the air. Welcome to Tarzan VR. We have a new enemy there that's lurking near the water here, looking for a snack. Nardi grabbing vine after vine here. Good fling forward from David. Let's see where to go next. We have a three-way branch here. Almost getting a grab there, Nardi. Oh no, losing her previous grip and saves it. Come on, Nardi, grab the next one. David chipping away at this granite wall. Doesn't seem to be making any headway on it. Now, there is actually a mod for Minecraft VR, but that is not Tarzan VR. We are playing Tarzan. Nardi making progress, almost there. Just think one more vine to go. And David discovering a new threat here. Crocodiles to the face. Krang! Chomp! Chomp again. It has died. Successfully slain a crocodile. And David taking out his aggressions on the dead crocodile. David has found another gorilla to save. Smashes the locks open. Nardi. No, so close, Nardi.
I can think of to free you from your captivity.
David making sure that the gorilla cage area completely devoid of any other progression. Nardi getting some high air through the trees. It appears that David has found the path through. Oh, wow. With such little health, David has made it to another source of food and another checkpoint.
Eat banana. Over here. Use one.
Already making more swinging progress here. It's about as many hints as I can get at this point. It's you know, it's really hard to figure out how to grab these vines. It's really tough. So. Another good fight from David here. Taking a little bit of damage, but he's okay. There's a grenade chucking soldier up on the hill there. David throwing a grenade of his own. Another gorilla has been found, but radios need to be smashed first, and boxes. I didn't even know you could break those boxes. Another gorilla saved.
Go now.
Another doodad reached, and David is entering the spider forest.
I don't like the sound of that.
More valuable bananas for David to recover health here. Nardi still looking to get through this first vine obstacle. Wow, David has dropped the frame rate by destroying 4 boxes at once. Another checkpoint. Oh, another death to Nardi. Looking at about 20 minutes in on the run at this point. Still another, I believe it's 25 minutes to go. David eliminating the first threat of a spider. Lots of dark rooms in this game. It does brighten up in some of the later stages, but these early areas it's just super dark and hard to see. Another dead spider. Unfortunately, no meat to consume.
Oh, I don't like this dark place at all, Tarzan. I hope you're close.
That's 3, but David's health's getting pretty low at this point. Oh, barely lives. Just one hit point left there.
This section of the jungle is one of the few I have not
So
explored
one more,
until now.
as a reminder for grabbing vines, you will feel it in the controller if you're pointing it at the right spot. It will rumble. Making progress here. Nardi reaching the next vine here. Pointing around. Desperate for a grip. Oh, but can't quite. Oh, running on the side of the edge of the arena. Nardi has found a near out of bounds here, is standing on the wall. Can she get a vine, though, to get back up into the air? This game, at this version of the game, does not have a jump button at all. So the only way to get air is through vines or walking on the walls. David back at full health, fighting more spiders.
Oh, I don't like this dark place at all, Tarzan. I hope you're close.
Seems like an endless wave of spiders. Nardi continuing to just scale the wall to see how far the walls can go. And has reached the edge of the map, overlooking the out-of-bounds area. A leap of faith, and... oh no, she can't quite grab it. But very impressed to find a near out-of-bounds wall there. That's tough to find in this game. David continues his way up the hill in the spider tunnels here. And seems to have found some torches lit. And another checkpoint. Seems to be a lot of dynamite around here. And does not throw it in time and has blown himself up. Dynamite is dangerous. Don't play with dynamite, kids. I know it's the 4th of July. We like explosives, but they are dangerous, so treat them with care. Well, that's one way to kill a spider, I suppose. Little overkill, but it can do it. David taking on 2 spiders at once here. 1 down. It sounds like the other one's dead as well, but I can't see it. Crunch. David has attracted the attention of another spider. Donch. It's a good onomatopoeia. And another gorilla for David here, but having trouble busting the lock open. Pops it in 1 hit with the stone axe. Apparently stone is stronger than metal. And much needed bananas here to recover some health. David considering his options here, deciding to go one way or another if there's a spider in either way. Trying to avoid combat. Nardi with a big leap. Almost manages to save it. Gets the grab on the next vine. Try to aim for the bottom of the vine.
There he is! He's over there!
Help, Tarzan! I need you!
Fly faster! Faster, you fool!
David reaching another checkpoint, but this vine seems to lead to a wall. Ah. David sees conveniently placed vertical vines made of apparently elastic, and is ascending the waterfall upwards. Oh, not quite. Oh, there we go. Gets a little wet. Some big air. Manages to surprise attack a soldier. This guy's wearing armor. Takes some tough hits. Dodges a rocket narrowly, but takes a hit and dies. Nardi trying wall strats again here. Walking along the right edge of the chasm here, trying to get an angle for another vine grab. Making her way up the top again on that very steep slope. David opting to try and surprise attack the rocket here. Having a tough time taking on both at once. Combat is very tricky in this game when all you have is a primitive stone axe or your fists. Already grabbing some good forward momentum on that next vine. Oh, but drops off the third. David looking to get a good angle to make his way up the waterfall again. It's a very steep angle.
Holds no mysteries for those who are part of it.
Makes it back up again. Let's see if he can take out these two soldiers. Dodges the rocket. Knocks out the Rocketeer in one hit. Opts for fisticuffs against the second fight here. He's got some good blocking here. I did not know you could block in this game. That's new. Seems like he's doing a good job of preserving health, and that takes him down there and finds a coconut. Very well done, David. Don't hit the small. Uh-oh. Nardi resetting again. Her save point will be preserved. David enjoying wanton destruction of these soldier camps. Crates are the true enemy of Tarzan. It seems that David has found another path leading up through another granite gateway. And there's the bad man with Jane. Get him, David!
Thanks for the information, you stinking ape.
Tarzan, I'm up here. Follow us.
Your girlfriend is gonna help us. Stay out of my way. Marcos,
And it appears that David has discovered Gorilla Mufasa.
so listen, those evil.
So enjoy this 2 or 3 minute long unskippable cutscene, David.
The door to the valley of the river.
So this is the point in the game where David will be learning about the main MacGuffins of the game that need to be acquired. Not likely to see many of them before the end of the run here, as we are at the 30-minute mark in just a few seconds here. But Tarzan will have to collect the feather, the flower, the pearl,
Make me tell or kill Jane.
and one more.
So Marcos,
But we don't know what the one more is at this point.
keys. Only Marcos knows how. Or key. The most important key. Find all 4 keys and see Jane.
Boom!
From entering right out forever.
Gorilla Mufasa's almost done with the overly dramatic, melodramatic ghost death. And now David can finally move on.
Among the apes who raised me, there was always one crime that was unforgivable. The taking of another's mate.
David reaching
Crime
another
I could
checkpoint
never
here.
be guilty of, for I myself have helped a pack of apes tear the violator of this law limb from limb.
Come on, Nardi, you can do it. Good grab. David trying to pet the gorilla. Another set of swinging vines. Just. And David has completed issue 1. So at this point, David can grab the second comic book and start issue number 2.
I really do miss Jane.
Life of men and women at stake. Only Tarzan can save life.
Good momentum on these early swings. It definitely helps to grab these vines when you have forward momentum, but it is possible to grab them without it. Nardi making some good progress here. Come on, Nardi, you can do it. Almost. Oh, it's so close. And David has received the next weapon of the game, the slingshot, which requires 2 hands to fire. And the grips. David getting some target practice in with our new slingshot. And misses the lock on the first shot. So the slingshot is arguably the worst weapon in the game, and is unfortunately necessary to complete it. Already close to this last grip here. And has grabbed on. And has made the next one. Almost there.
This is the only method I can think of to free you from your captivity.
And Nardi has made it through the vines. Let's go! David is now making his way through the swamps of the jungle here. A little brighter out than before, not quite so midnight black everywhere, but still so foggy you can't see too far ahead of you. David opting to take the ground route through this area here, dueling a soldier with a rocket launcher using only a slingshot, and lands a hit right in the groin.
I warn you.
Good opening salvo there. Can you block a rocket with your fists? We will not know in this fight. Nardi running her way through the jungle here. Has definitely picked up the pace and is sprinting through the jungle, opting to run instead of walk. Good smash through the lock there and sees the door open. Very good progress. Nardi coming in hot here, picking up a piece of clue here. A little tough to grab. Difficult hitboxes. Completely unnecessary and unrequired for progress. David in another battle of fisticuffs here, but not armed with his axe, so it's a little harder to take these guys out. Nardi going 2 at 1. Opting to fight instead of flee. Nardi booking it away. Snatches a convenient coconut on the way as David's making his way across the swamps here. Landing in the swamps is not death, but man, you wish for it because swimming in this game is awful. Already taking one last hit there, trying to make progress. David loves to touch every gorilla in the face. Nardi has acquired the first weapon, the mighty axe. David has reached another checkpoint there and has found an animal friend. Tarzan is kind to all the animals, and he is the king of the jungle. David, close your hands into fists and beat your chest, like Tarzan, while looking at the lion. As the lion just walks out of the stage. I've never seen that happen before. Okay. Well, the lion is not required here. I like to lovingly call that the Unity Assets lion, as it just sort of casually makes its way through here. Unity Assets lion, very, very useful for this next section because it will fight alongside Tarzan if you convince it to. We are down to 10 minutes left in the run, and Nardi's coming in fast here. Definitely making progress, bursting through that crocodile fight and rescuing another gorilla. Oh, Lion's just not quite convinced. Needs a little more chest beating and yelling there, David. Nardi reaching the next step, and Unity Lion is now in combat there. And fights far better than Tarzan ever could. Nardi sneaking in, smashing a lock, and moving on as fast as she can. Finding the next gateway. Unity Lion taking a little bit of damage there, but oh, there's Brutus, the villain. Can David make it in time?
He's down there in the jungle. Slow him down.
Tarzan, up here!
Unity in for the save there, but unfortunately takes a rocket. Unity Lion down, Lion down. Lion down. Get it? Okay. Nardi making her way into the spider's forest, running as fast as she can. David swinging on the vines here, taking to fisticuffs again, and has fallen in battle. Nardi opting to sprint past the spiders. David has found the lion again. And then I think you have to put your hands by your face, David. And look at the lion, maybe? These controls are weird. There it is. David with another Tarzan yell, and Unity Lion has joined the party. Nardi smashing a lock. Nothing's stopping her at this point. Sprinting wildly through the paths of the spider forest. Not stopping for anything. There's still plenty of time for Nardi to catch up if she can find her way through the second half of the level, although that cutscene is a bit long. And Nardi has found the vine at the wall. David fighting more soldiers here. Unity Lion with another save. Nardi has found the vertical vines to make her way up the waterfall. Some good progress there. A little hard to get higher up, though. David still has Unity Lion assuring him that everything is okay. And the lion with another takedown. Oh, and Nardi has fallen in combat. She made it to the top, but unfortunately, that guard was too much. Boy, this is the longest I have ever seen Unity Lion last in a game. That's very, very good lion management on David's part here, and another gorilla saved.
I came as quickly as I could.
So one piece that may have been missed earlier in the map, while swinging on a vine, if you pull the trigger, you can do a takedown move. Use that information how you will. Nardi has reached Gorilla Mufasa in record time after making it past the gauntlet. It should be noted, in the later version of this game, you can actually clip out of this room. I don't believe it's possible in this one. David has begun to climb across the spikes and smoldering flames. Those lovely VR controls. Climb, David. Get those arm muscles worked out here. Your shoulders will thank you later. This is a very slow mechanic, but it's one of the most, in my opinion, fun mechanics of Tarzan VR is like the climbing, and it's a shame that there's not more just straight climbing of things instead of just bungee cord vines everywhere. A little under 5 minutes left in the match here. David almost making it up to the top here, to the gorilla that I lovingly call Southern Drawl Gorilla because he speaks with a Southern drawl. Almost up to the top of the cliff. Oh no! David has fallen and landed in the spikes. Deceptive. It looks like you're at the top, but there's still a little bit further to climb. So David has to restart the climb again. Nardi almost finished with the Mufasa scene. David climbing with much more intent and speed at this point. But careful not to drop. Negotiating the corners here is definitely the harder part. David climbing on top of the vine. I've never seen that before. Climbing on top of the rope. Very impressive. Walking like a cat across all fours. Nardi reaching a checkpoint. Has almost finished chapter 1. David grabbing around the corner here. Climbing along the edge. Nardi swinging with speed and purpose. And Nardi has completed issue number 1! Closing some of the gap with David here as he continues to fight his way through some of these very difficult to see soldiers. With a very steady block and punch combination here. With a successful takedown. David tempted by the coconuts up in the tree. They are acquirable, but they do require a bit of climbing, which will take some time. And opting for all 3 of the coconuts. And Nardi has acquired the second weapon And a first shot with that. Excellent shot. Nardi opting for the ground route until we find the vines here, crossing through there. Avoiding the soldiers. Very nice work. Very quick movement through here. David has found Unity Lion again in a second area here. And is opting for help in this very crowded room full of enemies. Nardi flying through the level at this point. Looking to make up lots of lost time here. Reaches another checkpoint and has found the first Unity Assets Lion. Opting to move on. David getting another health refill after a rough piece of combat. Nardi has reached the helicopter and has run past it. A little under about a minute and a half left in this match. Nardi coming up quick, but has not found the way through this gate here. Can she find the gorilla that locks this door?
That's the boy.
David has reached the zip line. The fun part about this zip line is you can grip it from any angle and it does not matter. Your hand can be upside down and you will still hang on to it. Looks hilarious. Climbing the red waterfall that is kind of like lava. I think it's just a reskin though.
Don't know when to quit. Okay, that's it.
David looking to get a speed boost here with a conveniently placed vine off of that, but can't quite seem to get the grip. Has made its way into the next combat area. Nardi taking a death. David hitting below the belt and avoiding all their lovely punches there. They can't seem to see that Tarzan is fighting from a low angle here. Unfortunately, David can't seem to get out of this corner without having to fight his way through these soldiers. David has successfully punched the legs of the soldiers to death. All right, we have another gate here for David to figure out there. An interesting looking puzzle in it. And Nardi has rescued the gorilla. See if she can make it through. We have time, unfortunately, though. That is the end of the match here. Let's give everybody a hand here. That must have been exhausting. David TKI, Nardi, thank you very much for this match. David takes the win. Thank you all very much for enjoying this run, hopefully. I know it took a bit to get going, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the Kusogrande tournament. Thank you.